Hello folks, so we're back again for another update, our Friday update on the Sea REEFER 250, and this is a milestone. It's 3 months, 3 months in from the start. Just want to start with apologise for my voice. I've had a stinking cold this week, so yeah, sorry about that. I'll try and get through this video. I've got lots to cover. Everything going really well. So first off, this week we've done a lot of changes. I don't know if you can notice, you probably won't, straight off the bat. If you look at my previous update last week to this week, through this week, I think it was on Tuesday, I had a big upheaval with the tank. Decided to do the rescape I mentioned in my last update. It didn't go completely to plan. What I'd planned to do is perhaps do like 2 or 3 islands, separate islands, and when I shut the system down and started moving everything about and stuff, it just didn't work out. I think it's just there's too much rock in there to do sort of separate islands with sand surrounding them, so it literally took me all day messing around with it. The fish didn't like it at all. They were hiding away and shooting about and darting about here, there and everywhere. I didn't want to have to disturb the system like that, but there's no easy way of doing it. So that's what I did. I've rescaped. So although it looks similar in here to before, it is quite different. What I've done is I've raised the rock up quite a bit, so there's quite a bit more space in between all the rocks, and there's a lot more caves and caverns and stuff, so water flow can go in and out. It's just sort of like all raised up a little bit more, and there's more of a platform on top. Let's say if you look through my updates on the last video, you'll see a difference, and I really like it. I'm happy with the outcome of it. Yeah, it's all settled. The system's settled down now. Whilst I've done that, I took the opportunity to vacuum, do a 10% water change and vacuum all the sand underneath the rocks. Quite a bit of detritus come out of the sand, sort of dusty. Yeah, bits of uneaten food and waste and stuff. So it was a good job really. Everything, all livestock's going really well. The new addition, the mimic tang, settled in really well. Constantly picking, which is why I got him. Constantly picking on any hairy bits off the rock, any remaining diatoms, as you can see there. Picking all the time. And when I first got him, he's been in there a week now. This last Friday I got him. He was really skinny. He's still very slight, but he's definitely bulked up a little bit since in a week. He's feeding well. Feeds on anything, any flake, brine shrimp, algae flakes. So yeah, he's settled in really well. What I did notice actually, when I did that rescape on Tuesday, and obviously the fish are darting about and obviously squabbling and out underneath the rocks and stuff, later on in the evening, I thought, oh god, he's got in his dorsal fin, he had a big split in the dorsal fin, all the way down to his body. And I know they regrow back and regenerate, but sometimes it can take a while. And it's completely grown back or repaired itself already, so he's obviously in good health. Yeah, the split is completely gone. It was really significant. But yes, I'm happy about that. Doesn't fight or squabble with anything. He's definitely more dominant, the most dominant fish in here. He doesn't mind sort of going right up to other fish and sort of, saying he's not scared sort of thing. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. All the chrome is fine. Clown's fine. There's my 6-line wrasse. He's fine. In and out of the rocks. Just find him. Where's he gone? Oh, algae blenny. Doing great. Big fat belly as usual. Definitely growing. Where's that orange spot goby? In this little cave down in here. Down in there somewhere. shrimp's okay, and there's my peppermint shrimps out actually, so I can show you. That's peppermint shrimp. He's behind, there's his new home there. It was on the other side of the tank, but since I rescaped, he's taking a liking to this corner now. Nosy clown. And clean shrimp. All fine, he shed his skin last night. I definitely think this cloudy water problem, if you've been following this, is not as bad as it was. I don't really know what it is, whether it's precipitation or just where the tank's maturing and stuff, but yeah, it's slowly clearing, and you know, it's 3 months in, so things should start settling down really nicely now as the system matures. What I have noticed is lots of you know, we're still in the ugly stage, but this Coraline algae on the back is really, the spots are really expanding now. And that new wave machine I put in was what, 2 weeks ago? And get out of the way, clown. And you see all the peppering of Coraline on it in 2 weeks. So yeah, it's all good. I'll zoom in on it a bit better, so you can see the Coraline spotting all over it. So a good sign. Yeah, let's focus in. So yeah, everything's going well. I have changed, I don't know if you've had a look on Aquatic Log where you can see all the parameters for this tank. If you go onto Aquatic Log and put in the search banner Nath's Reef, and you'll see a picture of this, the Reefer 250 come up. You can see all my parameters when I'm testing. When I tested it, and what the parameters are and what I'm dosing. If you hover the cursor over the mouse over each figure, you can see what I'm dosing per day. What I've decided to do is raise everything up back to how they were, because the reason I dropped everything down was because I thought that the cloudy water was precipitation, without calcium precipitation, but I don't think it is that now. I think it's just because it's a newish tank. So I've upped them again now. Calcium running at 450, alkalinity 12.5, and magnesium about 1400, which is basically what Red Sea's Coral Pro Salt levels are at. And what I've noticed with keeping everything up like that, nice and high, is I'm getting the growth, the Coraline explosion and growth on the rocks and the back glass, and the coral growth is just unbelievable. Corals weren't phased by the rescape at all. Purple stylophora, that is ready. That's unbelievable, the growth from this. That is ready to split on the left hand side. There's like two branches coming out, and they're ready to split into two again on the top. You can tell when they start flattening out. So yeah, that's going really well. And the hystrix, the pink hystrix, loads of growth. Remember, you've got to remember, when I put this in, it was just two little sticks with a few little sprouts, branches coming out the top, but now it's just really networking out and forking off. It's going to look amazing when it's really big. So that's good growth on that. Now the new, what I have noticed as well, obviously the pulse xenia is not going mad, but it's getting to a nice size now. And on this rescape, I've sort of created a bigger hole for it here, so it can get a little bit bigger and it can't touch anything else to spread, sort of thing. But yeah, keeping a close eye on that. The green star polyps, really nice. Slow growth, but it's definitely growing nicely, and the rest of the colony is sitting over the back there. But the new coral, the barley slimer, I think it's doing well. Like I say, there's a 2-prong frag there, and I bought it with one of the prongs died off. But the healthy side, I don't know, it's only been there a week, and they're supposed to be quite fast growing. This acro, it's an acro barley slimer. So yeah, I think they They're renowned for growing good growth. Yeah, how keep Lenny. He's such a character. Great fish they are. Highly recommend them. Peaceful. Continually nip at any hair algae. Yeah. So the slime, I think that pale green at the top, I think's new growth. But no, over the next few weeks we'll see. I've high hopes of it sprouting right up and starting to fork off like Styliflora was is doing. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. That's going to look good as it's growing out a bit. Yeah, everything's going really well. I've got a few things. One of my subscribers, I've got lots of questions coming in and stuff, and obviously I'll try and message back people and answer their questions when they ask them. But I've got this one guy who's got a REEFER 350. His name's Gary. What I try and do is explain he's having problems with the downflow system on his. So it's quite hard to explain, but what I try and do is try and go through mine, and yeah, it might help you out with what's going wrong with yours. I'll go through that in a minute. The other thing is that I had a message from Red Sea themselves. So and hopefully I think they're following these videos. So hopefully you'll see this update, and thanks for your message. I appreciate your offer of contacting you regarding any parameters and that, and I will do if I have any problems. And I hope you follow these videos on, because it's this system is obviously it's a Red Sea REEFER, and I'm using all of Red Sea's products, and it's really going well. It's successful so far, so I'd highly recommend Red Sea as a company for using for supplements. And these tanks are, I believe, are the best on the market right now. High quality build, and the unique central overflow system with the silent downflow is brilliant. And Gary, if you're listening to this, once this system is set up right and it's working as it should, like my one is, it's brilliant. They are silent and unique, because the other tanks available on the market from other manufacturers, you just don't get that silent downflow system, which I'll go through now actually, so you can see. So with my one, I've had no problems with it. There is reports of problems with these Red Sea REEFERs with the downflow. They can't get it balanced right and making noises and stuff. So basically what happens is, and Gary will know this, the water flows in through the gates, and there's 3 gates on the box. It flows through. Let's take this lid off. And if you see there the water line, that's where I like to keep my water line, just below the sticker. And you can see the central pipe, the grey pipe. Ignore the toothbrush, by the way. That's just for brushing off any bits inside the tank. Just keep it in there. Yeah, the central pipe is the emergency overflow. Now there should be no water going down that whatsoever, only if the valve you've got underneath the sump, which I'll go and show you in a minute, isn't open enough. If it's not open enough, you're going to get water flow down there. Obviously this side, that's the return pipe, and this side is with the main downflow. And what it happens is it fills up inside, and it fills up just enough, that's why I like to keep it at this level, just enough so you get positive downflow. There's no air going down there at all. Now if I open the valve up down below, you get like, when you empty the bath after you've had a bath, that's swirling the water go down. That's what you'll get, and that's where you get noise, a sucking down of air. Okay, so you've got to get that level, that water line right. What can play a big part as well is when you've got wave machines in here, and you can see the water line jumping around like that, that can interfere with it. Now there's quite a lot of turbulence in this thing. I like it to be chaotic, very chaotic turbulence in there, as you can see by the green star polyps. They're moving about all different directions. And so the way I've got the wave machines is there's lots of current, and you're going to get this surface is going to move about with different jumping around waves. Now, if you have that too severe, then it can interfere with the downflow. It can sort of, go out of balance periodically. But even with this flow, you can see it there, the waves waving around the water line. It stays solid like that. It does take a little while just to get it balanced. Once you do any adjustment with it, leave it 5 minutes to see where the water line sort of goes. But so down in the sump, you've got the adjustment valve, as you know, there. I always put little marker lines on there just so I know whereabouts roughly it is. So yeah, once you dial that to a certain position, and you've got that water line up top, the overflow box, to where you want it. So you can run it just below the overflow, the emergency overflow, but you don't have to have it exactly there. It can be just below the overflow, just below the sticker, or where I've got it there. Sort of, I don't know, a centimetre or so, maybe 2 centimetres tops down. If you go any lower, you're going to start getting sound, that sound of the sucking of the air down through the downflow pipe. So, and if you have it any higher, obviously you've got the risk of it going down the emergency overflow, which that causes noise as well as it trickles down there. So you want to get it nicely balanced, a nice water line like that. And once you've got it balanced, you just want to double check. And I think Gary, you were saying about a problem with your last chamber with the level in it. Now, it's going to be quite hard for me. I'll try and explain it, get the camera in there as much as I can. But the float valve, this system's been really, really reliable and consistent. I've not had to mess around with the float valve or anything really. It's just, it keeps the water line in the last chamber constant. So it's quite hard to show you with the camera. I'll try and do it the best I can. There's the float valve. Now, if I reach down and push it, you just want to make sure that when you push it, the water comes out of the pipe, and when you let go, it shuts off. If you push the float valve down, you don't get any water come through. It's most probably because behind my reactor there, just that little tube behind here, there's a little tap. I can't really focus in on it. There's a little tap behind there, little valve. Just when it comes out the reservoir tank here, you'll see the valve. You're going to make sure that's open enough so water is coming through. Now, as long as that is all working correctly and you get water come through, there shouldn't be any reason why that last chamber shouldn't stay exactly the same water height at all times. But that's the only thing I could foresee the problem being is that tap. There's a little tap on the outlet there, isn't open enough, so it's not, even when the float valve's all the way down, you're not getting enough water going in there quick enough to keep it at the right level. So double check that valve, make sure it's right open, not open so there's water all flooding out of it, but open enough so that every time you push the float valve down, water comes out. And if it does, that rear chamber will always stay constant, the level in that rear chamber. I can't really, I hope that helps. I can't really explain any more. I hope it helps, and I hope you solve the problem, because once they're balanced, these reefers with the overflow and the return pump and the adjustment valve, once they're set, okay, you do occasionally have to tweak about with it occasionally, but like now I haven't touched that for 3 or 4 days since Tuesday, since I've done the water change and the rescape. I had a little bit of an imbalance there, it was going down the overflow, but you just tweak about with the adjustment dial to get it just right. You might have to come back to it, later on in the day just to double check it, just tweak it a little bit. Just do little adjustments as well. Don't do big adjustments. When you adjust this dial, just literally millimetre by millimetre, turn it, and then come back to it 5 minutes later and tweak it again. until you get it just right. But once they're right, like now, you can just forget and leave them and they're totally silent. Brilliant system. Okay, moving on. What do I need to update on? That little pink Hystrix frag, a little tip that I broke off, that I've put in a little plug there. Try and zoom in. It's just doing this on smartphone, so it's not great, but definitely growing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, because that was the tiniest little tip off the Hystrix that I put in that little frag putty. That's definitely growing, so yeah, it'd be interesting. I've noticed with this candy cane, just not growing at all. Don't know why. Really don't know why. I don't feed it anything at all. I know people do feed their LPS corals. I haven't fed this for months. I have noticed that I think it's growing a couple of new mouths in the centre. Zoom in, I'm sure it's another mouth popped up in there, so I think it might be splitting. And when I read up on them, apparently they can be quite slow growing or not do anything, and when they suddenly do start splitting, you can get some really good growth. Say everything else is doing really well, so I don't know why that's not. Might be because I'm not feeding it anything, but there's definitely two mouths popping up on this side as well. So let me see what happens with that. Say the tank's going really well. 3 months in. Say, you know, once tanks get to about the 6 month mark, you can sort of say goodbye to the sort of the ugly stage with any green hair. Well, we're doing well with this. There's nothing really bad algae wise in here. No hair algae, brown algae, anything like that. It's just a tiny bit on the back, as you'll see if I put the camera around this side. See it patchy on the back central box there on the glass, but that's subsiding slowly, and that will definitely go once the Coraline populates more and grows all over the back. It won't have a chance. So yeah, and all the rocks, you get a little bit of hair in there, but between the tang and the algae blenny, constantly being picked off. So it's all good. This new rock that's gone in is definitely purpled right up, as you probably noticed from the last updates. Can't really tell with the old from the new now. So it's Coraline sort of populating everywhere. Yeah, just going to let it run now, really. To say, like before, saving money, and probably in a month or two's time I should put loads more corals in there, loads more SPS corals in there. So just trying to recoup some money now. But you know, we're early on in the tank. It's only 3 months, so it won't do any harm just to let it stabilise and get all my levels stabilised. Well, say as always, any questions you've got regarding anything, please ask in the boxes below. And anything special requests you got, anything, I'll try and do a video on it as before. That's it. A view from here. So I'm chuffed with this tank so far. Yeah, you have your ups and downs of it, with, you know, just tweaking everything to get everything right. But yeah, we've got all the levels how we want it. All the livestock's doing really well, so can't complain really. So I really look forward to it evolving and growing out and putting some more stock in there. So I'm going to wrap it up, folks. Say thanks for all your comments. And if this is the first time you've seen my channel and this is the first video you've watched, please look back at all the other updates I've done and watched through. And good luck everyone with what you're doing with yours. And hopefully I'll do another update next Friday. Okay folks, cheers.